Good evening and welcome to our final leaders updates for Resica Falls this summer. Uh, Lots of information we're going to share, answer a good bit of questions as we go through, and we're just a couple weeks away from the start of camp, and the energy's building, and we are getting very, very excited. As a reminder, right, using the Q&A feature, the chat's disabled, so please put questions in the Q&A feature. We'll answer some of them live, and as well as some of them will be typed out as we go through and look at stuff here. So, here's our panel for this evening, right? Myself as the camp director. We'll have Jerry Reed, our assistant camp director. We'll have our two program directors, Andy Connell and Jacob Huff. And then Matt Gutterman, which is our special projects guy, who's serving as the host for the meeting and was doing some things in the beginning of the of the meeting for us. Okay. Running through and looking at our agenda for this evening, right? So final pre-camp reminders, got a couple different things going on there. And then we'll also talk about some program updates and changes that are going on, and then answer any questions that people might have.
So our first thing is, have you checked out the program guide yet? The program guide for the 2023 camp season is available on our website, rescapalls.org/documents. It is a super helpful, super vital piece of information that will answer 99.99% of all questions you may have about Resica Falls and our program for this summer. Make sure you read it, make sure your scouts read it, make sure even the folks driving up your scouts have read it. It is a very useful document to have at your fingertips.
Okay, and some final pre-camp reminders. Don't forget to order your custom themed t-shirts. You can order them online at resicafalls.org/t-shirt. Weeks 4 through 6, your orders are due June 12th. All right. Pre-camp surveys. Note any special accommodations in Black Pug, and then we'll take care of that for you. We use all this information for the campsite assignments, meal times, and arrival times. So don't forget to put any special accommodations in work break. Food and dietary restrictions. Summer menus are available early June, and any dietary restrictions form you can fill out and the cooks will get them. And they'll be available, the dietary restriction forms are available at resicafalls.org/documents. All right, Resica Falls is a good site to go look up anything. And then this year, we need emergency contacts on your rosters. And it's required as of May 1st. So don't forget to put an emergency contact for each person that's coming to camp. And with that, we'll have a great summer.
All right, thanks, Jer. A couple of things hitting on before your arrival, and some details with check-in. Okay, final payments are due on May 15th. So if you haven't gotten your final payment in on your unit's account yet, please make sure you get that taken care of in Black Pug. Any scouts that need to be registered for morning programs, whether that's Resica Rangers or merit badges, make sure that's taken care of as well so they can get the badges that they're looking for. Also take advantage of your unit's afternoon adventures. We sent out the advanced sign-up sheet for some of those key adventures. Okay. There's no necessarily a confirmation needed. Okay. If the adventure was available for your unit to sign up for, you guys are slotted in for that adventure in most cases. Once a unit signed up for a particular adventure, the option was taken away. So it wasn't like a pick or a competing thing there. So everybody that was put in for an afternoon adventure with those key adventures, right, you're getting your shot there with those. Make sure that all scouts and leaders are registered in scouting and that leaders have youth protection training complete. Okay. New directives from national that any individual that is attending camp with a particular unit needs to be registered within that unit. This is for both scouts as well as for adults. And those adults definitely need to be registered in scouting if they're staying in camp. Get your pre-camp swim test in. It's a very good thing to have your swim test done in advance of camp. Email that to us at swimtest@resicafalls.org so we can get that taken care of and have those buddy tags made up in advance. Check-in we talked about briefly back in our first leaders update back in February. Still going to be running with the elementary school as our first part. Still going to be doing medical rechecks at the elementary school as well. And when you arrive for check-in and you sit down with Jerry and I, make sure you have all of your medical forms that are complete and signed. All right, which includes drug administration records. Okay, and a cowboy action forms, as well as any ATV release forms. Those need to be turned in at check-in as well. A note with the ATV form, okay, the ATV Safety Institute very, very recently removed the their COVID screening form that they were requiring. So that's no longer a required form. All right. So that form does not need to be completed, right? But when we about a month ago or so, it still needed to be completed. That's no longer a required form at this point for the ATV program. We'll get you all settled in and go through a bunch of things at check-in as well. I also want to make a note about check-in times and campsite assignments. Okay. Jerry talked about those pre-camp questionnaires. They're very important to give us all that information that we need to give you the best check-in time and campsite assignment that's going to work best for you and for camp. So please make sure you get that questionnaire complete via Blackpug. And if everything goes well and we have all the information that we need, we're hoping to get campsite assignments and check-in times out by the very end of next week or the beginning of the following week. Fingers crossed there. I'm optimistic I'll get them done. So that's all I wanted to say about check-in. We'll address questions and all later on in the Q&A. Right now, we're going to bounce it back over to Andy for a little info blurb again.
All right. If you have any scouts in your troop or scouts that have recently aged out from your troop, ages 15 and on up, and they are interested in joining camp staff, please send them to resicafalls.org/staff for more information and our application. It is live still. We are always looking for folks to join our merry band of camp staff and creating a lifetime of memories. I'm sure you've probably talked to many camp staff members in your past weeks at Resica Falls, and all of them have loved it every minute that they are there. And I am sure there are some scouts that you know that are more than excited to be able to have that opportunity as well.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about program updates. We have some modified schedules. We are not going to be running Climbing Merit Badge this summer, and Environmental Science was inadvertently put up as a period 6 badge as well, which we're not running that particular period. Andy and myself have sent emails to those units to notify you that is the case. I talked with Andy last night. We've heard back from about half of those particular units. So if you haven't gotten back to us, or you know that you have a scout signed up for either Climbing Merit Badge or a 6th period Environmental Science class, please email Andy or myself so we can work with you to, rectify that situation, get your scouts put into another badge, or whatever the case is that scout would want to, do. We want to make sure that the SPLs are really prepared for the summer. So we want to make sure that they, aside from that key afternoon adventure, we want them to say, hey, we want to make sure we're planning the rest of our adventures out, whether it's buddy pairs, whether it's by patrol, or whether it is by an entire unit. Make sure those senior patrol leaders are reading the afternoon adventure guide, going over that with your scouts, and talking amongst them to say, hey, let's plan out how we're going to sign up for these. If you have a lot of patrols that want to do things aside from each other, send patrol leaders to the meeting as well on that Sunday night when you come to camp. So you're able to have those patrol leaders assist your senior patrol leader with signups. Then your SPL can do more of the whole unit signups and things like that. We want to make sure that the SPL prepares for the campers campfire. Come ready to perform a song, a skit, a cheer, a stunt, a story for the rest of the camp. That'll be on Wednesday evening. And make sure you're prepared for your gateway competition, because you want to come home with that prestigious gateway competition award. So you want to make sure you build a cool gateway for your campsite with a theme to make it, really fun for your scouts and have them utilize their scout skills. We have our class wait lists. So those scouts that are on those wait lists, we're going to be processing those by June 10th. If for some reason you still have a scout that you have questions about their merit badge schedule, you can always email or come and talk to me. I'll be in Unami Lodge. That's our main lodge at camp on Sunday. So after you're checked in, you get kind of settled in, or you're waiting around, you can come talk to me at the office and I can pull up the schedule of any scout or anything like that. I know from time to time I'll run into a scout that signed up for swimming merit badge. They don't necessarily pass their swim test. So that does happen from time to time, and that's okay. I can help you facilitate those changes. I did have a question that came up about our whether or not we use blue cards. We actually use a site called Black Pug. So what will happen is your scouts will sign up for their badges within Black Pug, within that system. I can pull up their schedules. The area directors will also be able to pull up those schedules, see what badges they're taking, and fill out the requirements that are completed in that. And we usually get together on Friday afternoon around lunch as staff to work on those. So that way, that Friday afternoon, most of those badges will be in for the leaders. They'll be able to get those, pull them up on really any device, and look through them. And if for some reason you say, Jacob, I don't have a great device to use, you can come talk to me on a Chromebook at the reconciliation, or from time to time, I've also been able to provide a copy of that for certain scouts to see what they have or have not completed. So that is kind of what I have on my end for our cool program updates. Again, it's going to be a great theme, a lot of mystery going on, but hopefully not a lot of mystery within program. So I'll be able to answer any questions you might have. So you can always shoot me an email, and I'll be able to help you answer some of those questions.
Maybe I can jump in here real quick. Just a little quick reminder, if your finances aren't settled up, you won't be able to get to any of the merit badges. So make sure all your finances are settled up before the end of the week, okay?
All right. Make new friends or bring your own. Some of your scouts this summer might have such a fun time when they're with your unit. Some of them might not be able to go while your unit would be going there anyway, but they still want to have a chance to come to camp. And this is where we offer our Provisional 1 program. Our Provisional 1 program is for all those scouts that maybe want to come a second week, or the rest of their troop isn't coming, or they can't make it their own. We offer it weeks 4, 5, and 6, and it is a blast, and you get to experience camp in a new way with new folks that you might not have had a chance to meet otherwise.
All right. So that handles the bulk of our information that we wanted to share. Not too much as we're getting closer, just a little over 3 weeks away from the start of camp. But we did want to touch base on those key things. And there are some questions in the chat, so we're going to go along and work our way through some of these questions. So please put things in the Q&A if you have any questions. We've got a question here about IRLS. The course meets on Monday and Friday morning. Monday mornings for about 2.5 hours, Friday mornings for about an hour, and then from there will be some homework assignment that they'll complete throughout the week at their own pace, in addition to those 2 class meetings on Monday and Friday. And that's the structure for the IOLS program that we operate at camp. Question here, what happened to the climbing tower? Nothing happened to the climbing tower. Unfortunately, we are not able to staff our Copeland climbing program this year. We put in lots of calls, lots of efforts, trying to find individuals to work on the climbing program, and we were not able to find people, director and staff members to run in that program. So that is why, unfortunately, we're not going to be operating the climbing merit badge this summer or be able to do Twilight Cope on Thursday evenings. Just a temporary thing for this summer, hoping that next year we're able to find the staff to make that very unique and exciting older scout program happen. Question here about swim tests. Okay, a scout needs to be classified as a swimmer in order to take swimming merit badge, right? They need to be able to pass the swim test and receive that swimmer classification. Being a non-swimmer or a beginner does not qualify them for being able to take swimming merit badge. Okay. You will pay in the camp office. That is currently escaping my mind at this point. But the training is there, and you will get CPR certification while you are in camp. Okay. Okay, question again about beginner swimmers here. Different swim classifications are allowed to do different aquatic activities. Okay, so beginner swimmers at the lake are allowed to go into a boat with a swimmer. Okay, and that can be a canoe as long as the other person in the canoe is a swimmer. They wouldn't be able to do a kayak on their own because that's a one-person vessel. So they would be able to do canoeing and rowboating as long as the other individual that was in the boat with them was in fact a swimmer. Okay. Going through here, a little public service announcement from Mike, one of the guys reviewing our medical forms. He's asking that individual forms aren't placed into plastic protective sheets. Slows down the process for the guys reviewing the forms. So if you can make Mike happy, the rest of us will be happy too. Just throwing that out there. Question here about the gateway competition. Okay. The scouts work on the competition. They can work on things in advance. You can prep some stuff at your troop meetings. You can bring supplies with you. And really kind of create that entrance into camp. Okay. It could be an archway. It could be a little feature thing off to the side. It's really up to you how you want to do it. Try and incorporate the theme in as best as you can. And I think Andy's going to add a little bit there for us.
Yeah, just from a person that kind of helps judge that competition. If you're interested in trying to, take down the competition and do a real good job with it, we typically look a lot more at scout skills and theme implementation than how grandiose and involved it is, right? Anyone that's been to a national jamboree is probably familiar with those gateways, where it's like a whole engineering marvel with like a turnstile that turns like a helicopter propeller. We're not really looking for that as much. While that would be cool to see, we really want to see scouts using the skills they've learned and helping teach their other scouts by building it with, knots and lashings and all of that fun scout knowledge.
Cool. Thank you, Andy. Again, arrival times and campsite assignments will be out either by the end of next week or the very beginning of the following week. Once I get all the information through that pre-camp survey in Black Pug, I'll be able to start working on the campsite assignments and arrival times throughout next week. So it should be the end of next week or the beginning of the following week that will be taken care of. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Yep, so with afternoon adventures, okay, the advanced sign up, which was kind of really focused on things that the unit might want to do with those key adventures, whether that would be a swim at one of our swimming holes or a canoe trip or a troop rifle shoot or archery shoot. That's really focused around the unit. And a lot of our afternoon adventures are focused on the unit, as well as things that individual scouts may want to do as well. So when going and kind of booking and scheduling out your afternoon adventures and things that the scouts might want to do once you get into camp, really take into account their own personal preferences and get that sorted out and get them signed up for those various things. So that advanced sign up was just kind of for those big key adventures that the unit really wanted to make sure was being tackled and being taken care of. Okay. Question here about prerequisites. Okay. How do we know prereqs are completed before camp? Okay. So individual scouts should supply their prerequisites to their counselor when they're working on those merit badges. If it's information that is, they have to provide details about visiting a museum or something like that, they should provide the details for visiting that museum. Okay. If there's something that they need proof from the scoutmaster should write a note saying, yes, this scout has completed these various activities for camping merit badge and things like that. So the prerequisites are shown to the individual counselor in camp, and then the counselor marks them off as complete in Black Pug. Okay. Lots of stuff here are swim tests. Okay. If you have an individual, you retake a swim test a second time before camp, send that over as well so that we can make the tag for their most accurate swim record at that point. Okay, adults, individuals can be non-swimmers and participate in Delaware River trips. Okay, if they are an adult, okay, they would just need to be in a canoe with another adult who is a swimmer. If they are a youth that's a non-swimmer, okay, they're going to be either in a boat with a lifeguard or be a buddy boat with a lifeguard that would be going on that Delaware River adventure with them. Okay, cool dip swimming level requirements. Okay. So the cool dip has different swim classifications as well. Okay. We're going to be looking during pre-camp to kind of outline the different swimming sections at those two swimming holes and kind of putting those into place. They were there a very long time ago, and they've sort of faded over the years. So we're going to be updating the swim areas for Pool Dip and Fossil Rock. Swimming merit badge does need to be completed before they can take life-saving merit badge. Okay. The two badges cannot be taken concurrently in camp. All right, another question here about CPR training. It's offered on Wednesday morning, starting at 10 a.m. And that is when the CPR certification course is offered in camp, right? There's no advanced sign up for that. You would just go to the meeting location, which will either be at the pool or at the clock tower outside the dining hall. But that will be announced in camp where the specific location will be for the CPR certification at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. Okay. Question here relating to meal times. All right. We have two seatings, right? The blue meal and the gray meal. Okay. They're kind of based upon your arrival time / seating in the dining hall. And so you'll be given that information when you check into camp on Sunday afternoon. Okay. Pre-camp questionnaire is located in the Black Pug. Black Pug is your reservation system. That's where you've been making payments, where you've been naming scouts, where you've been signing scouts up for merit badge, all those different things. And it is there as part of that registration when you log in. There's a series of questions that you would then answer. Okay. Question here about climbing. Jacob or Andy, when will the reports be updated for those who had climbing canceled?
In terms of Black Bug, we're still compiling all of those from the emails. So am I frozen? Am I back? Am I frozen still?
You're good.
Okay. So I would say probably within a week or two, those will be reflected on Black Bug.
All right.
Those
cool.
will get
Thank
updated
you.
before we process the wait lists. So you'll see that first.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if
Somebody has a question here relating to medical forms. Okay. The medical form is dictated by national. Okay, what it requires with parent signatures and participant signatures is what it requires. We don't make up the medical form. So if it's asking for a parent signature in a spot, the parent signature is required. If it's asking for a participant signature, whether that scout's under 18 or not in a particular spot, that is something that is going to need to be completed to have the medical form complete. Okay. I also see a couple questions here looking at swimsuit dress codes, especially female. National does not have a standing bathing suit policy. Okay. It is up to each local individual council to establish a policy for bathing suits for both male and female participants. At this time, our council has not established a policy that is coherent or all encompassing. So as the camp director, I'm going to say the scout should wear a bathing suit that they are most comfortable in and that is deemed to be scouting appropriate by the unit. Until our council comes up with a more encompassing and all-inclusive policy for bathing costumes, that's what I'm going to say our bathing suit policy is. Okay. Back through some of these questions. Okay, so the individual about being registered in scouting versus being registered in a particular unit. Okay, so this is a new policy from National. They have to be registered in the particular unit that is attending camp, because it is that chartered organization that is approving that adult to interact with those youth within their unit. Okay, if the Cub Pack and the Scout Troop have the same chartered organization, all right, then the charter organization has approved that adult to be a volunteer with individuals within their whole unit family. Okay, so that would be okay. But somebody that is registered just as a merit badge counselor, for instance, would not be able to attend camp with a scout troop, and somebody that's just registered on the district or council level also would not be able to attend camp with a unit, because they need to be registered on that unit level and receive that approval from the particular chartered organization. It's one of those many changes that are probably going to be coming down the pike for us as the national organization continues to exit out of this bankruptcy situation and lawsuit settlement. Okay. Going through here. Yep, Resica Ranger Scouts could sign up for a merit badge in the 2 to 3 time period. Just keep in mind that on Thursday afternoon, that is when they do their 5-mile hike and set out to go on their overnight trip. So if they're taking a merit badge during that 2 to 3 period, they might not complete all the requirements if they're missing to go on that 5-mile hike and the overnighter on Thursday afternoon. They do still earn 2 merit badges as part of the Resica Rangers program. This year it's exploration and nature. Okay. Scouts taking ATV, okay, are going to be needing to have long pants as well as long sleeve shirts, okay. Helmets, goggles, gloves, things like that are provided as part of the ATV program, but the long sleeve clothing is something that a scout would need for the ATV riding.
Steve, you also will need like boots to support your ankle.
Right, sturdy shoes, very good point, Chair. Okay. Question here. About some afternoon adventures, okay. Fossil Rock and Cool Dip, okay. Fossil Rock and Cool Dip are 2 natural swimming holes that are located along the Bushkill River inside camp, okay. Each one has their own unique features and gives scouts the opportunity to swim in the river in those locations. So there is an issue in Black Pug with verification of BSA ID numbers. It's being worked on, so hopefully that will be taken care of very soon. It's a Black Pug issue, not necessarily something that we as the camp can deal with, but our council is working to resolve that issue and will work with those individuals that are having some of the rejected issues with BSA membership and stuff like that. Okay, hitting on afternoon adventures again. All right, you signed up for your key adventures, and those key adventures, as you signed up for, were put into place. Okay, once you signed up for a specific key adventure and the form was successfully submitted, that option was no longer there for somebody to sign up for that adventure. All right. So if you signed up for a canoe trip on the Delaware River for Wednesday afternoon, okay, you are signed up for a canoe trip on the Delaware River for Wednesday afternoon through that free sign up. Okay. Question here relating to scouts and the buddy system, right? Scouts should be using the buddy system anywhere they go in camp. Okay. Buddies should be of a like gender. Okay. Individuals that are male or female and taking a merit badge really should probably have somebody else from the troop taking a merit badge with them so that they have that built-in buddy. If not, they can kind of form their own buddy pair and make sure everything's going to be taken care of. The majority of our areas do have female counselors in them, okay, as well as there are many female campers in camp. So individuals having issues pertaining to a female camper being the only female in that particular area for taking that badge can easily be remedied and resolved. And then if there is an issue, a leader from the troop could also accompany the girl to that class so that she wouldn't be the only female in that particular class for that time period. Okay. Okay, any individual that is staying in camp for more than 72 hours, okay, needs to have parts A, B, and C of their medical form complete. And if anyone is doing any aquatics-based activities, regardless for the amount of time that they're staying in camp, those would also need to have part A, B, and C completed. Okay, everyone needs to have part A and B complete for no matter how long they're staying in camp. Okay. So just kind of working our way through here with more questions, okay? Okay, there is a packing list located inside the program guide, so you can put that into place, hand that out to your individual scouts so they can utilize that. Okay. What else we got here? So May 15th is the deadline for payments, okay? If you have individuals that you need to add or change or make changes to your roster, make sure you utilize the change request form, and that'll get to the council staff, okay? At this point, right, any payments and fees that have been put into place and that would need to be refunded would have to go through the refund request form. and kind of go from there. All right. Okay, starting to get a couple repeats of different questions here and things like that. So make sure if you have questions that are kind of being unanswered, do you feel are being unanswered, please check back and view the recording of the Zoom meeting, so that you can come back in and see the different questions and things like that. So yep, I think we're going to wrap it up at this point. So thank you for joining us. Okay. Like I said, a recording of this session will be made available. You can go to youtube.com/Resica Falls, where there will be a recording of this Zoom meeting, as well as our leaders update, 2 leaders updates that took place earlier this year in February and April. Okay. And if you have various questions, please feel free to reach out to us. hello@resicafalls.org. Okay, working through answering as many questions as we can. This is our busy time of year, so we're getting lots of questions and things emailed into us. So we're working through and taking care of various questions and things like that through hello@resicafalls.org. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we'll see you in camp.